Hey everybody, this is Lenell Bourbon Society. We're back again. Today we have a real good one for you. This is our Christmas Eve post. As you see, I got my little hat on, and I found a hat that matched the bag of the bottle that I got on Saturday. So on Saturday, I went over to Birmingham to Lenell's Bourbon Boutique, and I picked up a bottle of 7-year Willett that she had for her birthday. Now, if you know anything about Lenell actually opened a shop up in Brooklyn. She is the famous procurer of the Lenell's Red Hook rye. If you look that up, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get too much into that, but she is a bourbon god and one of the few tasters that have just made a name for herself as far as her tongue and her whiskey profiles and tastings. She was the first one to be able to ever get a single barrel from Willett, and now on her 48th birthday, she went back again in September, and she got a chance to pick out 2 barrels. She got the pick of the litter of the warehouse. They gave her the keys to the castle. She went in there and she picked out 2 barrels, hand-picked 2 barrels out of all the barrels in the warehouse. She tasted through. She wound up with these 2 barrels. They're very limited. It was a very short run. This one, in fact, is the 7-year. So that's one of the barrels that she picked. It was let's see, 7-year. Alcohol content was 59.1, which is 118.2. It was hand bottled from barrel number 5457, and there was 202 bottles. I have bottle number 126 out of 202. This one's called The Light Side of the Moon. So she did 2. She did one that was The Light Side of the Moon, which was a 7-year Willett, and then bourbon, and then the other one was a 15-year bourbon that she did that was called The Dark Side of the Moon. She goes into talking about how she met with Drew Colstein, the master distiller of Willett Distillery, and also Britt Colstein, which is, I think, Drew's sister, and she's very good friends with them, and talked about her whole deciding process and how they came about that name. But to not go too long into all that, we will get into what's at hand, which is the actual whiskey. So this is Kevin, and this is...
It is Ethan Gall here, joining Kevin for this review for this amazing pick, bourbon, 7-year Willett.
Yeah, so, he's one of our members from Birmingham. We have multiple members all across from Atlanta all the way to Birmingham. I hop between the two, but we've got, you've seen a bunch of people from Birmingham and a bunch of people from Atlanta. We all kind of get together and drink bourbon together. And unfortunately, on Christmas Eve, these are the only 2 people that decided to come out and drink bourbon. We're crazy about bourbon. But getting into the bourbon, so again, it's a 7-year bourbon by Willett. The mash bill is unknown.
Undisclosed.
Willett's been real good about not telling their mash bill. They also don't tell where they get their bourbon from.
We don't know the source. We don't know the mash bill. Right.
They're a non-distiller producer on some of their stuff, so possibly this could be outside juice. We're not really sure. They don't really talk about that, but we'll get into the bourbon here and taste it a little bit. First, we'll take a little sniff and get a chance to smell it.
Wow. The nose is fantastic.
Yes.
Immediately I smell vanilla ice cream. And there's cinnamon spice, sweet rye. I definitely smell rye in it. Lots of vanilla flavor, like I said, vanilla ice cream, and lots of fruit candy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What I pick out from the nose. Kevin?
Yeah, about the same. So I smell the cream. I also smell like a candied fruit. Something close to like canned pears or canned fruit pears.
Maybe plum.
Plum. I actually do get a little plum. I do get the cinnamon spice. The cinnamon spice is characteristic of most Willett stuff. You could put 3 different bourbons in front of me, and I could definitely tell you which one is Willett. Willett has a specific smell and a specific taste profile, to the bourbon. So
there's a little alcohol on the nose, but it doesn't smell like 118.2 proof. And when we first opened it last night, it didn't smell much. You have to let it sit there, let it oxidize for at least 5 minutes, and then lots of flavor, lots of nose would come out.
yes, we actually poured this, talked for a second, and then started to post, just because it's hard to be able to smell right out the bottle. It doesn't have a pungent smell like some of the other bourbons that we deal with. But then once you let it sit for a minute, the smell is just, it is a bouquet of different smells. Like I said, it's a cinnamon married with a cream, married with like a candied pears or candied plums. Oh my God.
It's just so inviting that after you smell it, you just want to taste it.
Now, just to show you the color real quick, I'm going to throw up this little piece of white paper here. It is a dark amber. So it's a pretty dark amber. In the cup, it's a little lighter, but in the bottle, it's a really dark amber. I don't know if you can see that. Really, really dark. It definitely has the look that you per se look for. The nice dark, oh God, the smell of this is just something fantastic. It's something I've never smelt out of Willett before. It just has this really different smell. I can't put my finger on what that is, but there's definitely a smell there. We tried to talk 5 minutes before we started this up just to see if we could figure out what that smell is. I just cannot. It's definitely cinnamon spice, but there's another weird smell there. It's like,
it reminds me of very good quality ice cream.
Yeah, like really good quality ice cream. I hope it tastes the same. All right, we'll take a little taste of it. Now, again, because this is 118 proof, we do 2 things, of course. We try it as is, and then we add a little bit of limestone water. Of course, limestone water breaks up the ester alcohols. We've talked about that on every post, blah, blah, blah. And we'll see what it tastes like. But shout out to Lenell, because Lenell was really nice enough to give us a shot at a bottle of this, and we at West Atlanta Bourbon Society really appreciate the opportunity to taste her bourbons. And I can't talk enough about how nice of a person Miss Lenell is. She's the best. I sat there for hours and hours talking to her. She's so inviting. It makes me not want to leave her boutique. I sat there, I know, for an uncomfortable amount of time, but I appreciate being able to spend some time with her and talk to her about her taste profiles and her just life ventures and journeys. But let's take a little sip of this and see what it tastes like. Cheers. Wow. That is cask strength. Ooh. It packs a punch. It's definitely cask strength. You can taste it, you can feel it. The flavors just keep going on. I did get a little bit of ice cream in there. It's bursting with fresh fruits. Bellowing with like cherries and
just like nose and candied fruit, vanilla ice cream, and sweet rye, cinnamon spice. It's got a little heat to it, but it's expected from a 118.2 proof.
Almost like a rye heat in the back end, yeah. Now in the front it's got the regular mouthfeel, but in the back end you get that really high heat. Probably what's indicative of a 7-year bourbon. Yeah, young bourbon.
You can definitely taste the age from the rye spice, and but it's fairly smooth for a under 18.2 proof. So we're later going to find out if it's going to benefit from adding some water to it.
Right. Yeah, definitely the heat on it is definitely there. It is a powerhouse bourbon. I put it up next to any of the other high rye, high spice bourbons. It is definitely there. It's still playing around in my mouth now. It's just the viscosity of it is real thick and oily. It does coat your tongue real well. It's not watery or anything like that.
That you can drink it neat. It's I mean, it's hot, but you can drink it neat.
Yes, you can definitely drink it neat. Yeah. We'll add a little bit of water real quick, just a few drops of this limestone water, this fantastic limestone water. There you go. You add as much as you like.
It's about 5 drops.
That's what I did, about 5 or 6 drops. I'll do one more just ahead. There we go. And we'll let that marinate for a little bit. We'll talk about the price. I know Miss Lenell would hate me to talk about this. But the price of it, for this bottle, the pre-sale I think was $300 or something like that. But the ones that we bought in store were $660. So retail price on this is about $660, almost $700 for the 7-year bourbon. That's a high price to pay for such good bourbon though. To be honest, Lenell's palate is of such that if you look up Lenell's Red Hook Rye, it goes for stupid prices. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars for what she originally picked. So a $660 price tag on a 7-year bourbon is not something that's unheard of, or that would be out of the realm of what you would think. Now, I do have to say that the reason why I think that this is worth the $660 or $700 is because of the fact that Willett basically gave her the keys to the castle. They opened up the doors and said, pick whatever you want. They gave her a whiskey thief in a glass and told her, have at everything in Willett's distillery. So out of all the bottles and all the barrels that are in, barrels that are in the Willett brick houses, I think she picked the 2 best barrels. And as everybody knows, honey barrels go for way more than what Willett regularly goes for. So in my opinion, it's not too much of a cost. Some people may say, oh God, $700 for a 7-year bourbon, but you're never going to get a bourbon like this again. This is a YOLO moment, you know what I'm saying? There was 202 bottles sold total, or barrel total, and not even, I think, all 202 of those were sold, to be honest. So, we're talking real low numbers here. We're talking about, close to 100 and something that actually got sold. So, keep that in mind when we're, discussing the price, that, these are really, really limited. Really limited. You don't know how much it meant to me that, Lenell would allow us to get even 1 bottle. So we appreciate that, and shouts out to Lenell for that. But now that we've had the water in there a little while, we'll take another quick sip and see what it tastes like. I think now the smell is about the same, except I got a lot more candied fruits out of it. I'm getting a little more.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little.
It doesn't change much on the nose. Maybe a hair sweeter, but definitely tune down the alcohol a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of raspberries now. You get the raspberries and the darker fruits. Fresh dark fruits is what I'm getting now. Fresh dark fruits. Is that what you're getting along with the creaminess?
I'm getting a little red fruit.
A little red fruit? Okay.
Yeah.
It's still got that weird smell. I can't put a name to it, but it's fantastic smelling. It's not the damp basement smell that you get from like Pappy and older stuff like that, but it does have that special smell, almost like Henry McKenna, like old Henry McKenna. You know that old Henry McKenna that we had?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the 1964 Henry McKenna just has this really, really, really.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes, that's what this smells like. This, I finally could narrow it down to what I think it smells like. But yeah, it smells like almost like a Henry McKenna, which Henry McKenna is.
Oh, that was the 1764. It's the first time they put it in the gray porcelain jar.
And Henry McKenna comes from which distillery?
Can't remember.
Okay. To me, it sounds like it might be a Heaven Hill product.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably Heaven Hill.
Yeah, it smells like
I
it.
think I saw Henry McKenna barrel in the Heaven Hill distillery.
Okay, nice. So we can probably pretty much narrow down where this came from. Let's take another quick sip and see what it tastes like now. The legs on it are fantastic. Look at that.
I see how it changes on the palate.
Mm-hmm. Not as much of a burn on the back end. I'm not getting the chest feels or the, the regurge or the, burn, the Kentucky hug, what they call it. The mouthfeel.
Yeah, it definitely helps with the burn, and it's still above medium viscosity, which is great. The mouthfeel is still good.
Yeah, that's what's fun. Usually when you add water to a bourbon, it dilutes the mouthfeel, it dilutes the flavors, it dilutes the mouthfeel. This is one bourbon that when we added the water, it didn't take anything away. It didn't take away any of the mouthfeel, any of the taste. The profile was still there. It made it a little creamier, a little more like a dessert or like a ice cream.
I don't think I'm detecting any additional flavor. Let me try it again. I think the sweet rye and cinnamon spice stands out a little more, but it definitely helps with the burn, making it a lot smoother. The mouthfeel is great, even after you add water. So that's very well done.
Yes, I think this is one of the few bourbons that I would say when you add water to it, it actually makes it better. It actually cuts the back burn down, and the mouthfeel is still the same. Usually that never happens. Usually when you add water, the mouthfeel and the flavors change, the burn may go away. On this one, the burn goes away, but you still have the same flavors, which is fantastic. Most bourbons can't do that.
But of course, everyone has a different palate. You may enjoy it at 18.2 proof, but we find that if you dilute it down with the Kentucky limestone water to about 110 proof, it makes it softer and more palatable, and it doesn't change the flavor profile.
Right.
So great done, well done, Lenell.
Well done, Lenell. Thank you, Lenell, so much. You've proven why your price tags go for the prices they are, because this is just a fantastic pour. This is really a treat for Christmas Eve. My Santa Claus came early. He really did, boy, I tell you. Or she really did. Mrs. Claus. Mrs. Claus looked out for me, and her name's Lenell. We always rate this, and first we do the bottle, bar, and bust. Now on this one, that's going to be hard, because here's the deal. You're not going to find it in a bar. You're not going to be able to get a bottle of it hardly, and it's definitely not a bust. Of course, if you can find a bottle of it, beat somebody's head down and get it. You may have to give your kidney or your child's left kidney to be able to obtain a bottle, But if you can get a bottle, I would snatch it up. If Lenell still happens to have a bottle sitting around somewhere and you can go in there and Colorado one, I would do so. I'd do it again all day long. Yes, the price tag is high. Yes, $700 is high. I get it. I understand that. But this is something you'll never ever have a chance to taste again. It is fantastic. And they did this for her birthday, so like they pulled the stops out for her. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to taste the 15-year because I'm sure the 15-year will be right up my alley. I mean that'll be perfect hit for me.
So Lenell, if you could send us a bottle of the 15-year.
Yeah, hey. Send us a bottle. That ain't happening. Not because that one was at a $1,700 price tag. Ain't gonna be no send a bottle of that, but
send us a 2-ounce sample and
there you go. Send us a sample so we can review one. But on the scale of 100 to 50 to 100, 50 being something that's terrible, anything from 60 to 69 being something that's bad, 70 to 79 is drinkable, but it's more like a mixer. 80 to 84 is pretty good. It may be complex, but it's just not that easy to drink for the price. 85 to 89 is good. There's one or two things that you didn't enjoy. Could be the price, could be too sweet, could be the high alcohol burn, etc. And 90 to 95 being an excellent bourbon, something that you'd love to, you'd buy this bottle every time you had the chance, but wouldn't mortgage your house to buy the bottle. And then 96 to 100 being perfect, being something that there's just no price tag that would ever compare to be able to taste it. Where do you rate it?
Yeah, first of all, the nose is fantastic. I'd love to give it a near perfect score on the nose, but because it's got a little burn when you drink it straight, when you drink it neat, and also because of the availability and the price, I'd like to give it somewhere between 91 and 93.
Right. And I actually agree with that. I was actually going to say 93. 93 was the number I was thinking of, only because of two caveats. Because like I said earlier, the price tag is very high, but of course it's going to be. When you get an opportunity to go in and do a hand-picked honey barrel, it's not cheap. You know what I'm saying? Those opportunities are not cheap. Those opportunities cost money, and you're going to pay for that. Unfortunately, the price tag is going to reflect that. And then, of course, the burn on the back end, because it is so spicy and so high rye, that does, bump me down from a 100 or perfect score down to about a 93. But I will say this: when you do add the limestone water back in, I would rather drink this with limestone water because it doesn't change the taste profile. It'll actually lengthen my my finish, and my bottle. So I've got one bottle of this. I have to make it last. So if I can add a little bit of limestone water and extend the bottle a little bit without compromising the flavor or the mouth viscosity, that's a win-win situation for me. It's almost like the James Thompson 45-year-old bourbon. You can take a few dips of that and put it in some other bourbon, and it just takes over and takes the monster of it. Well, that's the way I can extend that bottle, because it will take over whatever you put it in, because it's 45 years old. This one, adding a little bit of limestone water, you can make the bottle maybe go a little further, from a 750 to closer to a liter. That's the good part of that. Again, I would give it a 93. That would be my recommendation. But we'll also taste this as some of the other. We'll be doing a follow-up post where we'll put a few of the other members in front of the camera, let them taste it again. But unfortunately, tonight this was the only two people that could come out on Christmas Eve. They could peel away from their families to try this fantastic bourbon. This is a YOLO moment, truly a YOLO moment. Hats off to you, Lenell. We appreciate you. We love you. We love your bourbon, and we love what you do for the community. We're always here for you. I even found a leopard print hat to go with the leopard print bag to go with your wonderful stuff that you gave me the opportunity to purchase. I appreciate it. So you're a rock star, Lenell. You did it. Hats off to Willett. Thank you for doing that. Because of that, y'all produced the best bottle in the world, and we appreciate it. So cheers. Drink more bourbon, guys.
Cheers, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. Happy holidays. Y'all take care.